Okay, guys, welcome to a brand new episode of WrestleSlam, the podcast brought to you by Manscaped.com and the Macau Casino, Cork City. And yet again, welcome along to a fresh and brand new episode. We do apologise for not making last week's show. Right now in Cork, there's a bit of a virus going around, and I happened to pick it up. I know Phil was a bit rough recently as well.
I'm still not right.
Yeah, look, it's I think like in the place I work, there's numerous people out. So look, that's the reason we didn't want to come on air, I suppose. But we are back, and it's great to be back as well. There's so much to talk about. We're going to talk about the new WWE Championship belt. We're going to talk about RCW, Irish wrestling in general, some big announcements via OTT. We're going to talk All Elite Wrestling and much more. And I'm glad to be joined by my co-host, Mr. Philip Connolly, who's had a busy week. I'm going to stray first of all, mate. What's the story with this new belt, this new WWE Heavyweight Championship belt that was revealed by Triple H? What's your thoughts on that, first of all, my man?
I'm on the fence. A lot of people love it, but I'm not a fan of this big giant WWE in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gigantic. I know that they have to brand it's branding pal and all this kind of thing, but Triple H loves that big gold belt. I just think the big WWE should be a little bit smaller. If it was just that bit smaller, we would be laughing, because it's actually not that bad compared to what we've gotten.
And it could have been a lot worse, as you know.
Yeah, he could have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the overall I like it, but I don't love it.
Interesting take.
Yeah, I just wish that they just had it bit different.
Yeah. And I'm on WWE.com right now, obviously looking at that belt yet again. It's almost like a replica of one of the old belts, the old WCW one, but it's kind of similar to the All Elite one as well, if you get me, Phil.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
It's the same kind of shape, like, and then I suppose you have the pattern away from the center, like left to right. Then you have it reminds me of John Cena, the circle.
Yeah.
But it could have been a lot worse, couldn't it?
Yeah, Triple H loves that big gold belt, so I'm not surprised there's a connection there. But again, it's all down to branding. This is why it's so big. They just love the brandings. Anywhere they go, say WWE, and you know it's WWE. So that's the reason.
And speaking of Triple H, Phil, look, he's obviously the man behind it all at the moment when it comes to storylines. The draft it's upon us, and we've seen some of the names today that potentially will be on the move. But what's your thoughts on WWE stock right now and where they're at? Do you think they're in a good place? Do you think they're in a better place? They could be in a better place. Have they gone downwards rather than upwards?
It's a really hard season. After WrestleMania, it didn't seem to get any better, did it?
Yeah.
It seemed to kind of flatline, I suppose, is the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
But in saying that, draft tonight, because we're taping it on a Friday.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that'll be a clean slate for everyone.
It'd have to be, wouldn't it? Because there's a lot of stuff that Triple H will want to tidy up. I'm guessing we're going to see a bit of a momentum now with a couple of wrestlers on the move.
Well, a few wrestlers will get good new starts.
Yeah. Do you reckon they keep the undisputed status?
Didn't they say something about Roman Reigns would have 2 belts? Whatever show he's on.
So he's going to have the 2 belts. So they'll keep the, I suppose, Universal WWE Championship.
Yeah, for now. When he loses it, though, that'll be another question. What will happen then? Because there was talk of just the Universal belt, which I'm not happy with.
I think I'm actually okay with that, though.
Yeah?
I think I'm okay with the 3 belts, yeah. I think I'm okay with it, yeah. I think we spoke about it on numerous podcasts.
Yeah.
Some were in agreement, some weren't, that maybe it's wise to have another belt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Time will tell.
My only concern now is don't put that belt on Cody Rhodes, the new ones.
Who do you think deserves it? Like, there was a lot of statuses. There's a lot of statuses up, and I think even WWE has some stuff up. But I know there's mentions of Drew McIntyre. There's Seth Rollins. There's Edge. People say he never really lost it. You know what I mean? The World Heavyweight title.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I would put Rollins myself.
He's untouchable at the moment, really, isn't he? He's in Belfast as we speak. He's probably entering the ring. What time is it? 8 o'clock, 10 past 8. Yeah, so he's probably entering the ring as we speak. Oh, so yeah, it's Rollins. Rollins is a workhorse. He's got some really. He's kind of reinvented himself, really, hasn't he?
Yeah, he really has. I think it's also time as well. It's been a long time since he's had one of the big belts. It feels like it's been longer than it is, but I'm assuming it's 3 years at least.
Yeah. And like with this new belt, obviously it's the World Heavyweight Championship. Do you reckon they start a new trend in the sense of, look, we know all the previous World Heavyweight Champions. Is it added to that list, or is it a completely new?
That's the thing. They haven't clarified what it is, so
Yeah.
nobody knows.
Yeah, it's interesting, you know. Like you look at all the old names like Bret Hart, Ric Flair, Goldberg, Kevin Nash, Triple H, Booker T. So do they keep that pause and start a new trend?
I'm assuming they should keep it. You would think so. The history there is unbelievable. Like,
oh, it's ridiculous. Just the most prestigious belt in all of war wrestling, really, when you think about it, really, in it, because that kind of reverts back to NWA, doesn't it?
I suppose the next big news that came out this week,
yeah,
is that weird CM Punk story that
he was backstage. Yeah.
I didn't believe it at first, but it was true.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's up there.
It's interesting. Yeah. Obviously, apparently he buried a hatchet with Triple H.
Yeah.
Was chatting to numerous wrestlers backstage. How does one attend? How does an all elite wrestler turn up on a Raw WWE show and chill out backstage? How does that happen?
You'll walk in with the lads anyway. That's the only way I would have saw him coming in.
Yeah.
I'm assuming he was brought in by some WWE lads.
Who do you reckon was cheeky enough to bring him in?
Whoever was on that flight.
Yeah.
It could have been anyone. Apparently he buried the hatchet with the Miz as well.
That was interesting.
Yeah, because they had beef for years.
You know he's going to come back, Phil.
Eventually, I think he might, yeah.
Yeah, he will. I'd say it could be a more of a commentary role maybe or something.
But I think the way the roster is now, there's a WrestleMania main event there for him.
Yeah, like what's his contract and all elite? I'd say he's have to sign in a 3-year deal maybe.
Yeah, but because he's missing for a year now, they'll tack on another 9 months.
Yeah.
So it's a lot longer than the 3 years, but it's every week there's a story with him.
He stays in the spotlight, doesn't he? He stays in the spotlight. Like I'm a Punk fan, and there's no doubt about it. Like I'm a massive Punk fan. No, do I think he's overrated? No, I don't. I think he's a bit controversial. He knows how to go on a rampage. Apparently a very nice guy outside of the ring. I've known numerous people that have met him. And I think personally, I'm looking forward, first of all, to seeing him back at All Elite. I'm looking forward to seeing him in London if that does happen.
Yeah.
But it's interesting the fact he's backstage. Maybe he wanted to just bury the hatchet in general with a couple of stars. Maybe that's it. Maybe he picked his day. I'm gonna fucking go to Raw and I'm gonna be backstage and I'm gonna say sorry.
I think he, in his own head, he probably realizes that to fix things, he has to do everything.
Yeah.
It's not just, I better fix things with the Elite and Chris Jericho, but what happens then, like, if I go back to WWE, there's all these lingering other issues, like I fell out this guy. Even the Cole Cabana stuff that came out the other day, they stopped talking because he went to eat pizza. Do you know, that's just the weirdest story I've heard in a long time.
In a while, yeah. Like it's do you think like in regards to CM Punk, first of all, leaving WWE, do you reckon his problem was with Vince? Was the problem mainly Vince McMahon, or do you reckon it was more?
I think it was a bit of both. Vince McMahon is a hindrance, as we know, with these constant changes and constant not knowing what's going on and where are we going. And there's also his body was dead. I think his body was burned out. I think he was just so badly burned that he needed a break. But he went about it the wrong way because his mind was also burned out and he wasn't even himself at the end of it.
Yeah, but if you look at the new revolution, so like you say, as you said, Triple H now is the guy in charge. You know, there's Nick Khan, there's many more people there, and obviously Vince is still kind of around, and it's been bought, new owners and stuff. You look at that connection with CM Punk, UFC. You look at maybe does he look at that? Does he look at that as a vision? Does he say, right, it's now owned by slash UFC, and it's a collaboration? He's probably looking at the long run, like. He's probably looking at it at like fucking like I need to patch things up.
Yeah,
Never had many major issues with Triple H. I want to see him say hello. Like Triple H, first of all, seems to be a guy that can bury the hatchet. I know there was shit there with Scott Steiner. Apparently they patched it up.
yeah.
But I have to. You have to.
A lot to do with getting his son a good position. But yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, but you have to
He's the
admire
guy
Triple H.
he will communicate. That's the
Yeah.
best thing to say.
Yeah, and I think people have to take that into life. Like not many of us, but some of us will hold a grudge for fucking 20, 30 years. And people won't sleep over certain stuff. But I think Triple H is a guy that will actually fucking go out of his way to bury the hatchet and make sure things are ironed out,
Yeah, exactly.
It's mad. But so what's your bold prediction for all our fans watching right now, Phil? Does CM Punk come back to WWE in 2-3 years, or is there gonna be another twist in the tail? Does he appear again?
He's definitely come back to AEW anyway at the first off.
Yeah.
That's confirmed, I think. I think they were all saying it was confirmed for June, some point in June.
Would you be pissed off if you're Tony Khan getting a text saying CM Punk is backstage at Raw?
No, not really. Backstage on Raw, do you know what? If he's not mad, he should be.
Yeah.
I mean, you're trying to restart something, and a third show? A third big show? And you're hearing one of your guys you're going to be using is, I suppose he should be pissed off, but I don't know Tony Khan. Tony Khan doesn't come across as someone who gets visibly angry.
Yeah, he doesn't. But it's you look at the name and the nature of how things are in the media world today, and it seems to be like all publicity is good publicity. So Punk is back, he's trending, he's backstage at Raw. Does that mean then, like, if he turns up at All Elite next week or he turns up at a major pay-per-view, it's like, fucking hell, it's more of a pop? Or is it just like, you know what I mean?
Well, he's going to get a pop anyway because they're going to use Chicago.
Yes. Chicago's his savior, though, you know that?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's why they do it. But yeah,
if Punk wasn't from Chicago, if he was from fucking Arizona or Seattle, what would happen? It's just that Chicago thing, like an Irish thing, really. Like, you've got Boston, Chicago. It's just a fucking place where everyone get behind their own, like, you know what I mean?
I know, yeah. It's true. Speaking of Chicago, because I just wanted to mention it, because then the Chicago thing remind me, it was a sad time to lose Jerry Springer.
Yeah, look, we have to mention Jerry Springer. It's listen, when I grew up, I was sent to bed, Phil. I was sent to bed at about 8:30, 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
And if my dad was working or if he was out, my mom would always put on Jerry Springer, and the aunts would probably call over and stuff, and it was like, that's your go to bed time, Jerry Springer's on. But listen, the man is iconic, and we have to give him props. He's been on our WWE screens, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's definitely been in the back, and I know that Razor Ramon video in particular was magic. And apparently, Phil, that was the real Intercontinental belt.
I know,
that Razor Ramon gave away.
Yeah, that's mad.
Do you know what I mean? And apparently,
because Jerry Springer was just iconic.
Yeah. What's your first memory of Jerry Springer?
Weirdly enough, it was just the bodyguards dragging people out.
What was it then? The bodyguard, Steve, was there? Remember Steve Wilkos? He was one of
the guy. Yeah, that's the
Steve.
Guy. Yeah, that's all I remember is the Jerry chants and just people being dragged out. I know. I actually, when I was very young, because I was like 10 or 12. I thought it was real. I'd say a lot of times, to be honest.
What a show! It's probably the greatest show of all time when it comes to, like, you know, obviously in the UK.
Used to be on it like at 2:00 in the morning here.
Yeah, live. Yeah, you'd have like obviously Jeremy Kyle, Jerry Springer, but he was iconic, and I think the tributes Phil, were incredible. You look at the tributes, everyone was, full of acknowledgement for what he'd done.
Yeah.
But just a really cool guy, just a real all-rounder. And yeah, Jesus, as I said, like, you know what I mean? It's thanks to him that my Jerry chant is iconic. But being in school and someone was, oh, Jerry Springer, it's the old jokes when I'm primary school. Oh, look at Jerry Springer. They point at me. I'm like, my name's Jerry Collin, not Jerry Springer. Oh, Jerry Springer. Iconic. The man is a legend. So he'll be greatly missed. He's one of them names that will actually be missed. And I think 95% of anyone that's over the age of 25 will know who Jerry Springer is. So greatly missed. And I think he's one that will be never be forgotten. As Scott Hogg once said, bad times don't last, but bad guys do. Now, Jerry's not a bad guy, but he's just, he's a name you won't forget. But that Razor Ramon, when he came onto the show and he walked out and he broke character, he didn't even put on the Tony Montana voice. It was his own natural voice. But apparently that was the really icy belt, and he gave that away. And I think Vince apparently said, "You actually done the right thing. I would have done the same or something." So Vince didn't fuck him in the end. But yeah, Jerry Springer, rest in peace from everyone at WrestleSlam. So obviously backstage, CM Punk, he was at Raw. Obviously new World Heavyweight title, and apparently, guys, the show is recorded obviously on Friday. Tonight on SmackDown, there's going to be a segment in regards to the World Heavyweight title and what's going to be planned for that. So I'm assuming Triple H will open the show, maybe, will he?
It's possible, yeah. Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah. So interesting to see what will happen there. To other news, Eric Bischoff gives a health update, near fatal medical emergency. So we're wishing Eric Bischoff all the best. A bit of a medical scare. He's a former guest here on the WrestleSlam podcast. So we wish you the best. Phil, there's rumors Naomi Impact Wrestling apparently it's legit.
That's done. That's a done deal.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? It's a bit of a shock in a way, but it's a great scalp.
It's a great thing because I didn't want to see her get lost in the shuffle on AEW.
Yeah.
I'm delighted, and I think the right call will be Naomi and Deonna at Slammiversary. So yeah, I think I'm looking forward to seeing it because I've noticed as well there's a trend, and I don't know how long she's signed for, but it seems to be 6 months to kind of see where she is at, I suppose.
Yeah. In-ring performer, do you rate her?
We haven't seen enough because anytime we've ever got to see her, it's kind of like it's not her fault. It's more timing. WWE seem to have short matches and they're not particularly well laid out and stuff like that. So in Impact, we will see. I think we're going to see the best of her, to be honest.
And how do they package her, Phil? Is she a heel? Is she a bit of a
face?
You think so? Yeah.
She's just herself, like Trinity Fatu.
Yeah. Is this encouraging news for Impact fans in the sense that we might see Sasha Banks go in that direction too?
Sasha Banks was a free agent, I heard, soon again, which is a weird one.
Yeah.
Could I see Sasha Banks in anything's possible, but I don't see her at Impact. But anything's possible. My fear is, though, that by signing Naomi, that Jordynne Grace is going to leave Impact.
She's something else, isn't she?
That doesn't look good.
They have a very exciting female roster on Impact, like.
Yeah.
So you reckon Jordynne Grace is all elite or WWE?
I don't know. That's one we'll have to kind of suss out, I suppose, in the next few weeks. But they also someone else as well that was she brought Kiera Hogan's partner that came back recently as well. So there is a whole Impact.
Tasha Steelz, is it?
Tasha Steelz, that I just couldn't think of the name. But
Tasha Steelz, Kiera
Hogan recently as well. So yeah, there's a lot going on in Impact, and Impact is see what happened. We've talked about before many times. They shot all over their audience, and people don't forgive. Like we've had Moose on, and he was saying they weren't paid like for 3 years.
And they did look after them. Like the roster itself did kind of take the hit, didn't it?
Yeah, and the fans just lost interest, and it was just a terrible time for the whole. But yeah.
It's interesting. What's your thoughts on Mandy Ross? Look, she's not been spoken about on the podcast for a while. What's going to happen with poor Mandy?
It's weird.
She's making millions, obviously, but look.
Doesn't need to come back. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I think she should just retire from wrestling. I think she's done.
You really think so, yeah?
I think that, like, what does she gain from it? I mean, unless she really, really loves it, what does she gain from it?
If you look at her journey, so we're speaking, anyone that doesn't know, obviously Mandy Rose, Mandy Sachs, she came through the ranks. Obviously, we first seen her kind of on the screens in Total Divas. Obviously worked her way very hard to go through, obviously, numerous brands. And then obviously then she became NXT Women's Champion. Was incredible, had a really big fan base.
Yeah.
Got fired due to I suppose stuff that she was doing outside of the company. And there was a lot of heat, a lot of people pissed off. So like we want to ask the fans, like, can you see Mandy Ross coming back? If so, comment below if you want to see Mandy come back. I want to see her come back. I've been lucky enough to be in her presence 2 or 3 times, and she is she's a very cool girl, and I think really she is a good wrestler. I think she really came on NXT.
When she went back to NXT, she really showed like that she is able for it. Like,
yeah, her brand was pretty big, and I think, does she have unfinished business? I believe so. She seems to be like the girl that had so many targets, and I think a Raw Women's or SmackDown Women's World Championship was in her sight. I think if she was still there now, I'd say she might have had one of them belts. She would have maybe lost one of the NXT belts. But if you look at the belts since,
I think she'd be moving in this draft for sure if she was still there.
Yeah, well, she might pop up. She might pop up because we know there's names. Obviously, there's NXT stars too that could move up in that draft. Now, Shawn and Triple H have a great relationship, no doubt. But do I think Leia Valkyrie is going to move? I don't think so. I think her stock is NXT. No. Same with the rest of them. But I think there will be a few names that will pop up.
There is a few. Actually, just while we're on the topic there, who do you reckon from NXT is going to move? I reckon Braun Breaker has to move.
Yeah, he's kind of, I wouldn't say he's lost, but he is kind of just on he's been very dominant in the last couple of weeks. You know,
he lost the belt that they don't have any direction for him.
Yeah, I think he might end up in SmackDown, to be honest.
Yeah, it would be good. I'd like to see him move. I'd also like to see Cora Jade. I like her. I think she's very.
Cora Jade. She's had some battles, some great battles with Leia Valkyrie recently.
Yeah, I think she's at the level now where she could move. I think there's 1 or 2 more, like Cameron Grimes. I think he's going to move. I think Pretty Deadly seem to be on the move as well, which I think they're really underrated. They're really good.
Great tag team. I think they're definitely on a mission, aren't they? They look amazing.
They look the business. They look like stars. They carry themselves like stars. They're good.
Yeah, no, they are. And I think they what's all this about LA Knight? Man, he's got a big fan base, Phil. Yeah, people were saying put the belt on LA Knight.
There's big talk of him winning Money in the Bank. There's big talk of him winning the Money in the Bank at the moment.
Did you rate him?
I do rate him. I just wish that he was a little bit younger. For himself, he's in his 40s. I don't know if a lot of people know he is in his 40s, but he is really, really, really good.
Yeah,
he's just come to the what's the word? He's come to the foreground too late.
Yeah,
I think you don't have longevity with him.
Yeah, I think the fans are behind him, aren't they?
Oh yeah, he's really good. Yeah.
He's really over, like, you know what I mean? We got a message there actually on Twitter the other day. It was just we were tagged as a guy called Jim that tags us in a lot, but they wanted to know your thoughts on Bray Wyatt. What's the story with Bray Wyatt? I think we have to answer that one. Is he gone?
Asking me, I hope he's gone. I'm actually not a fan.
Yeah, it's
I don't think
you're all invested.
He's not gone. I don't think so.
Gone.
Do you think he's gone? I can't see.
Where does he go from here, like?
That's the problem.
Like there was so much investment into the storyline. We've seen
this Uncle Howdy thing is just dropped now, and no one knows nothing. Yeah, so it's weird. Like,
I don't know. It's fucking madness. Manus, they did so much. He came back. What's your thoughts? There was another tweet. We were in a little debate there on the WrestleSlam Twitter page. Omos, Phil. People reckon Omos needs a big run, and they reckon he's going to get it.
The thing is, I wasn't a big fan of him until recently.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was, but something clicked, I guess. He's fighting Seth Rollins next week at Backlash.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll beat Rollins, but it's
You
only.
never know.
No, you never know, but I can't see it. But yeah.
And what made you kind of change your opinion on Omos?
I think it's the Brock Lesnar stuff.
Mm.
Just I know he was big and I knew he was tall, but just looking at him there and with Brock and just going, Jesus Christ, he actually is that big.
But he's after improving an awful lot, really, isn't he?
He is, yeah. Like that's another side of it too. Like, he doesn't need a speaker; he just needs MVP to do well with him.
Yeah, MVP's kind of doing well in the back, and he knows how to put people over, doesn't he?
Yeah. But speaking of Omos, actually, just I saw something yesterday that I wanted to bring up.
Yeah.
Big E is coming back.
Oh yeah, he is.
I don't know how true this is, but I heard he was coming back as soon as today.
So you reckon he could be on a draft tonight, yeah?
Or Monday night even. One or the other.
Yeah, I won't be surprised. Like tonight's a big night. Tonight's a massive night.
They split it up apparently. They've like draft 1 and 2, so people who are drafted tonight can't be drafted on Monday.
Is Cody Rhodes number 1 pick in that draft, surely?
He'll go to Raw, surely.
Yeah, I think he will too. I think he will. He asked it, doesn't he?
Yeah, I don't see Roman Reigns moving or Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, they're not going to split up the bloodline either. Like,
it shouldn't, but you never know.
Yeah, no, it's going to be interesting. Just going to let everyone know as well that All in London, All Elite Wrestling, the pre-sales begin May 2nd, guys. So if you want to get your pre-sale tickets,
the registration is at 60,000.
Yeah,
just so people are aware as well. Yeah,
that's surreal. Like,
yeah,
surreal.
they might just sell it out. I don't know if they will.
You look at that lineup, like you're going to have like the likes of Adam Cole, MJF, Kenny Omega, Jericho, the Young Bucks.
I can't wait for them to tell us to fuck off.
Yeah. He might even go to Ireland.
I just so want the on video like fuck off, lads.
Yeah. I'd say it'll be a long day, Phil.
Yeah, I know, yeah. It would be great.
They'll do a lot, like, you know what I mean? But this is gonna be iconic. Page, you know what I mean? You're gonna have Cesaro.
If I was smart now, I'd have a WrestleCon or something that weekend.
I think they're gonna do it. And I think that's the fucking jackpot for all of us that if we do go.
Yeah.
It's the jackpot, like.
They should do a WrestleCon in London. Like, there's a lot of them there. There's a lot of wrestlers in the UK as it is.
Yeah, we need it though. I think for Europeans that go to America,
as I know, even right now, isn't it? FT flows on. FT flows on right now, isn't it? Right?
They might be smart enough to do something, yeah.
I think
they might be smart enough. Yeah, they might be smart enough to do something, you know. So
as all the XWW wrestlers.
Yeah. Tony Khan, if you're listening, my man, this is an appeal from the WrestleSlamPodcast. All in London Wembley Stadium, live Sunday, August 27th. Don't forget, guys, pre-sale is just around the corner. But if anyone, even WrestleCon, so all our guys at WrestleCon, we've been lucky enough to see you, New York, New Orleans. If you could bring WrestleCon or do something with Flow and bring 100+ wrestlers to the UK in August, you know, a beautiful summer in London, then please do so, because we want to meet all our old and current veteran wrestlers, past and present. So please make it happen.
And our good buddy Jonathan is at the event tonight.
In London, yeah? Liverpool, is it?
Manchester.
So Johnny's gone over, is he?
He is, yeah.
So for the guys that don't know, Johnny Dwyer, previous guest here on the WrestleSlamPodcast. Johnny, enjoy him, man. Looking forward to seeing the pictures. He's met some great. He's met the Warrior, Ultimate Warrior, by the way.
Yeah, he was in Limerick Warrior years ago.
Yeah, Jesus.
Years ago, I didn't even know about any of this.
I didn't either. Kind of gutted. So yeah, now we have to mention before we wrap up as well, guys. RCW, we will be doing a special. It's going to be recorded this Saturday, live at the McCoy Casino, Cork City. So do keep an eye out for an RCW special ahead of their next show. And there's going to be a lot of work via WrestleSlam and RCW in the weeks ahead. So looking forward to collaborating with RCW as well. And you will see us at a number of Irish shows in due course over the next couple of weeks. There's been a couple of announcements there in the last few days. So the WrestleSlam team will be there. We do try and make as many as we can, don't we? We like obviously we have commitments, but Jesus, we want to be at them all. But we will be at a number of shows in the coming weeks ahead. And as always, we will try and commit to as much as possible. I suppose if we were kind of like, like we do a lot of media work at these shows, and we try not to do interviews at every show, because if we don't interviews every show, it gets saturated. You know what I mean? We're doing this since day one, I suppose. We're at it 7-8 years, and I suppose we're the OGs of it. But people always say, can you keep doing interviews? Keep doing interviews. Like I think we don't want to oversaturate it. That's the main reason that we don't do interviews at a lot of shows.
We like to interview new people when we're at the shows.
Yeah, like that's a massive thing. Like I think the last RCW show we went as fans. Now we're always there as fans anyway, but it's just I suppose a lot of the time that we do media work, it's it's we get to enjoy the show as well, obviously, but it's kind of like we don't want to do like every show. So the next RCW show, for example, we will do interviews. So if there's anyone you want to see us interview, then shout away. If there's any questions you want to ask, make sure you email me or Phil or comment below, and we will ask your favorite wrestlers any questions you want to ask. We're all about fan engagement. That's the main thing, Phil, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
good
it.
stuff.
You just keep interacting and stuff like that.
Yeah, keep interacting. But make sure you subscribe to our channel, guys. Yet again, this show is brought to you by Manscaped.com and the McCoy Casino Cork City. Many big nights in due course coming to McCoy Casino Cork and Manscaped.com. Use our promo package WrestleSlam, 20% off, guys. And we absolutely adore Manscaped.com. Thank you for being behind us. From Phil and myself, Jerry, we thank you very much for tuning in, guys. Do subscribe and follow and like every WrestleSlam platform possible. And if you have any questions, just email us. Yet again, thank you very much for tuning in. We'll catch you all soon, guys. Adios.